Salome. How's it going today, everyone? I'm kind of having a bad day a little. It's not a bad day, but frustrated with people. So I'm doing my therapy, and I thought I would share it. I got my red light for red light therapy. Now, I don't know if it actually works coming through the phone or not, but if it does, awesome. If not, then sorry, but I tried. I'm trying to share it with you, the red light I got going on in the background. And I'm going to play my own beats that I just made up recently. They're just beats, no lyrics to them, and they're like unpolished, unfinished, but they're still good enough. That's my phone beeping. If that happens in between, I'm sorry. I don't know how to turn off the notifications. And I'm going to do my aerial silk while I'm listening to the beats, because that's good therapy for me, and maybe it could be fun to watch for you. If not, I apologize. I'm not professional. Please do not try this at home. Only try it if a professional helps you, and I'm not. So I just have fun with it. I use it more like a yoga trapeze than doing circus acrobat stuff, because I am scared to do the flip thing. I'm not scared to hang upside down. I'm scared to do the flip thing. And I don't have super good arm strength. Like, I'm not what I need to be a good aerial silkist. Not that I don't aspire to that. That if I get that good at it, that would be awesome. But I don't work hard enough at it. I have other things that I focus on. So that's why I say I use it more like a yoga trapeze. I use it for fitness and fun, and to kind of add something to, I'm a belly dancer / just a dancer, just as a hobby, and therapy. That's my therapy. When I get upset, I have to transfer it to something creative, or I would probably be a really bad person if I didn't, because I don't know if you've ever listened to any of the stuff that I create, but often it's pretty dark. Just because I've got a lot of stuff deep down inside me that needs to come out, and I'm trying to catch up from my childhood, and so, what comes out, and I don't mean it to be that way sometimes, but it's better it comes out like that than in real life, like being, I don't know, when you get it out like in a creative way, it's constructive, I feel like, and safe, within reason. If you're putting like subliminal messages or something like that in there, or I believe you can infuse darkness into music, and that is actually very bad and negative. And I'm not trying to do that, but I do think that sometimes negative things have positive. They're like catalyst type things, and in that way, if that's your intention, I feel like it's positive, because it helps other people have the boldness to, take on that Kundalini or Kali energy that you've got to muster up sometimes to fight fire with fire, maybe there's a time and a place for everything, a time and a season, and I believe in peace in most cases as much as you can, as far as it is up to you. But there are times when you can't make peace, and that's when you need to step the fuck up and handle shit. And Jesus is that type of person, and I'm supposed to walk like Jesus, and I do not mean that means being like this pacifist person that allows people to continue doing evil in to me or to others in my sight. I feel like it's my job to do something about it if there is something that I can do. And I need to, when I come to those times, I have to ask God, okay, is there something I can do about this? And if there is, what is it? Because I don't want to do the wrong thing. So one way I cool down is I do something creative and fun. So I've been working on, because I don't play an instrument, I've been learning how to do digital music, produce digital music. I've been teaching myself since 2019-ish. And I think I'm getting kind of good at making beats. And I've always been good at writing lyrics. I'm not good at coming up with things on the fly like how some people can. But because I'm good at poetry and write lyrics, I weirdly am good at rap. It's just, I know it's weird for a little white girl to rap, but, you know, it was weird for white guys to rap at one time. You know, it's always weird for, you know, and I feel like I have a little talent for it. Growing up in Memphis, my main, like, the people that I guess grew up admiring and listening to or being influenced by is 3-6 Mafia, and Gangsta Boo is my favorite, and Coops to Nika. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I said it sounded very white when I said that, and I apologize, but I mean, I'm actually Italian Irish. That is not the same kind of white as whatever the privileged white is supposed to be. You need to look into history on that. Italian Irish, we were not considered the same as white. In fact, we were considered lower than slaves because slaves were valuable and we were throwaway people. They used to hang us on the streets as well, especially Italians. Specifically in New Orleans, you need to look it up, the lynching of Italians, because of our intermingling with the black race, our miscegenation or whatever they call that. I think for our underground ways of doing things, and Irish people are the same way, clannish. We, underground kind of people, and that is, there's a stereotype about that, and there's a reason for that stereotype. I can vouch for that as far as I know from my own family history on both sides. On both sides, there's some historical importance, like people in my family, and I can attest to on both sides the being of the non-privileged and the privileged. I'm like sort of like in between, where I can be a chameleon either way. I've had to learn to survive that way. I don't know. I'm a libertarian. I don't believe in going extremes on either end of anything. I believe in having a balance on everything. There's a time and a season for everything. I don't believe in just black and white. Sometimes there's more often than not, there's grays and in between and other colors besides black and white. So this is my red light. And now I'm going to let you hear my newest beats that I just came up with recently. Okay. Well, that was one, but that's not the one I want you to listen to yet. I forgot where I had it in the phone. Okay, here we are. Pardon me for just a moment. All right, I got two of them. So here's the first one. Okay. Whew. That's that one. I hope I didn't have too much wardrobe malfunction. Hope nobody saw that. I might get taken down for that. Anyway, here's the next one. Whew, I am real tired, so just give me a second. Pardon me. I'm gonna get me some water. That's my fault. See, I gotta have this bottled water now, because in Memphis, you know what? Let's have an interlude now. I'm gonna let you listen to my song about Memphis. It's why I got this water here, this bottled water, because we're supposed to be known for having great water. We got a lot of problems in Memphis, so you would think the least they could do is let's keep up the reputation of the water. We don't even got that anymore. they hadn't been maintaining the artesian wells or whatnot. I don't know, the pipes or whatever for water, and they've been dumping sewage in the river, and doing God knows what with the landfills, and it's seeping into the water. So it's not like it used to be. And then we had a big freeze, and they didn't have things maintained, so busted. And then it was they had to put a warning out not to drink the water. And it's like that was one thing we had going for us, I thought. But then I've been thinking about it, and I'm not sure how safe the water has ever really been to drink here. I should be drinking bottled water anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna let you listen to that song while I'm like cooling down. And then I'll do the other beat. But I've already put out the other song. It's called Welcome to Memphis. It's on YouTube if you want to look it up, by Christina Reeves. I'm gonna find it, and we're gonna play that right now. And I'm going to do some stretches, I think, while we play that. It usually comes first thing up. It's Welcome to Memphis by Christina Reeves. Now, there's a cool song called Welcome to Memphis by Clenched Fists, and I actually used to date one of the guys in that band. But I did not mean to name it the same thing as that. But I just realized that after I named it that it was called the same thing as that by Clenched Fists, and I know exactly there's a part in it. I actually love that song, but I just named it that because it has to do with the song. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. You will never get this. Swimming in a little lake on a stinking island. Crime's really safe. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. My lord, may it strictly be the diet. Full of hot air, makes it deadly for the riot. It's science. You must look with me a man. You muffle that noise when you're talking out your ass on your head. Motherfuckers brain dead. Bitch, I didn't study, you heard what I said. Let me go up shit, bitches never talk shit. Bring it over here, I was waiting for you to see it for you. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Yeah, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene.
This is so good on your back. You should get one of these. It's not getting actually yoga. It's not an aerial silk with yoga trapeze.
Living is a real bitch, chilling like it is, cause I'm your street journalist. Speaking my aggression, not I'm passion. When you think you felt me,
not aggression, not aggression. I know it sounds like that, that's not what I'm saying. Take it however you want to take it.
Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene.
Okay, now I'm gonna play the other beat that I just recently made up. That one I recently made up, but not that.
That's commercial. Okay, here's the other one that I just recently made too. Unpolished, unfinished, but it's just something I recently did. Which one did I just play you? Is that the one that I just played? I feel like it was. Yeah, this is the newest one. I just made this up today. Tell y'all there is to it. Like I said, it's just a beat that I made up and I like it. I can put more to it. But if I do this a lot, stretch and hang upside down and get, the air going in between the vertebrae, sorry, I'm taking my key right now. I like to go roller skating to the song. My friend said it sounds like, no, I don't think I let my friend. He said that he was like wearing 90s. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. He's like, yeah, but that's back in now. I'm like, bitch, it don't matter if it's back in. It's in if I'm making it, okay? It does. It's like 90s industrial rock. It's what it reminds me of. Hopefully my cam's not good enough that it even matters. Okay, so that's my other beat that I just did. Anyway, I I don't know. I hope that was as good for you as it was for me. I think I need to go back and look at this now, make sure I didn't have any bad wardrobe malfunctions, to be honest with you. So, Salome, and if you have anything to donate to my cause, because I'm trying to work on some musical projects and go up to LA to help David Leave a Heart with get himself settled and situated, so that when I come back home, I know that he's safe and sound, if I have to see to it myself. So if you want to fund that, if you want to fund me, just fund me and send it to me. But if you want to fund David, tell me it's to David and I'll send it directly to David, or give you the way to contact him, so you can arrange that for yourself, instead of going through me, just to make sure he gets it, because that's something that's been going on for a long time, is that this guy he's cock blocking him from all his fans, lying and saying that he's his manager. He's not his manager. He's just his business partner that David can't get rid of. Anyway, and he's holding all David's stuff hostage, and David's not doing so well financially, and everything's been down. He had to set everything to the side during the COVID mess, and so he's been doing really bad and had to get on welfare and Social Security and stuff. And I just don't think it's right that his so-called manager, who's not licensed to be a manager, is not really his manager, but self-proclaims that, is not only, he's stealing all his copyright and sabotaging all other avenues that David tries to do to make money outside of what Jonah allows, and handles himself and takes his cut. And David usually doesn't even see the full half that he's supposed to receive, which I think half is too much, considering David is the main guy for the David Leave a Heart show, and Jonah is really getting clout off of David because he hasn't done so well in his own musical career, so he's just riding on David's to have something, to stay relevant. That's the only, thing that I can see why. And he's making a lot of money off of David, off of YouTube, according to what I looked up now. And it's like, for David to be living in poverty, it's insane. So I hope that information is wrong, but I think it makes sense why he's so controlling over David and so sabotaging of everybody that tries to help David get a more fair situation and more control over his own intellectual property. And anyway, that's kind of why I got, because this is just my personal channel, and I do plan on one day having a professional real channel that I really want to actually build up and use for whatever. I'm not even sure exactly where I'm going to go with it, but this is just my personal channel. But David kept telling me to go online and tell people this stuff, and Jonah would try to take down everything that I've done. So he has tried to take down a lot of stuff that I post, but he can't take down everything because there's only so much he can do. And he can't take away my testimony and what I have to say. And he doesn't have rights over my intellectual property. And he doesn't have rights over David's either. He just steals it. And David doesn't know how to use the computer to fix anything. He has a hard time communicating, and he gets manipulated very easy into believing things are fixed or whatever Jonah tells him to appease him. And he's just so intimidated, and honestly, he seems brainwashed into believing that Jonah will just ruin his life if he breaks ties with him finally, even though he wants to so bad. And I'm so frustrated by it, because it's like I've tried to help him every way he's asked me to, and every single time Jonah lashes back at me. And it turned out that even David's creative director did, which is not his creative director, is not his creative director anymore. They're not going to do anything together as far as the last I heard. Unless she, I don't know, bribes him or, I don't know, sucks up to him again and they bully him and manipulate him again or something. I don't know, which that's actually very possible. But when she found out that David was working with me and we weren't doing anything to harm them at all, she just got really jealous and started trying and threatened me, like saying that she has Italian mafia connections because she's Italian. I'm Italian and my family actually does come from that. So not anymore, but in the day, that's when that was during the Prohibition and stuff. That's what my family did. Bar Saudis. We were the bar people. We were bootleggers. My family was. They did gambling and bootlegging on Broad Avenue. My great grandfather practically owned Broad Avenue. Like, it's weird. It's crazy. But like the stories of like The Godfather and all those Italian mafia movies, that's really what these Italian families often were like. I hate to say that about my own Italian heritage, that stereotype. I'm not saying that all Italian families were involved in things like that, but that's just our culture, how we do things, because our government is corrupt over there. And we have learned that, they do their thing and they're going to do it no matter what. So we're going to do our thing no matter what. And even though it was illegal, we thought it was wrong to make it illegal. So our family did that and they had to hide it from the government and had to go underground. It's not that they were bad people, but when you have to do things underground, that's how things get messy. That's how gangs get started. And I'm not saying that my family was a gang. I would hope not. I don't think that they were, but they were doing underground stuff. Like that was a very common thing back in the day when it was prohibited. That's why, as a libertarian, even though I don't agree that certain substances are something you should do or that's healthy, I think it's smarter to allow them, at least in their natural form, to be legalized, because making them illegal causes the underground markets that are what causes the dangerous forms that are not regulated. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's keeping tabs on what the contents are, and it's being done underhanded. And that's how dirty, dark people get caught up in good people get caught up with dark people. I'm not saying that happened in my family. I'm just saying that's why the Italian, my family later became like, my grandfather went to, was my great grandfather was illegal. Like, he never actually became legal. And he literally brought his wife over from the old country. And when she died, he got another one. And that was my mom's Aunt Maria. And she wasn't really related to them, but my mom loved her. My mom always talks about her. I think her ghost hangs around me all the time and blesses me and watches over me. That was probably her. Anyway, but my mom says I would have loved her, that I have a lot of her personality traits, even though we weren't related. But I believe that, well, I think some of it is just Italians are known for a certain passionate nature. And I do have a lot of my Italian and Irish heritage going on about me, with that passion. And even though I'm very American, I'm kind of dwindling my point, but anyway, because of the stigma of Italians that for some reasons were rightful, like the Cosa Nostra, which you have to be a Sicilian, and I'm not a Sicilian. We were the northern Italy from Lucca, which is known for their high Nazi rebellion. And my family came over sometime before the Nazi takeover, and I don't know the story behind that, but I would imagine there had something to do with the heat of that. I would like to think that my family was anti-Nazi. Anyway, but they're very weirdly, even though they'll do these underground things, they're very traditional, often mostly Catholic and spiritual, and very family oriented, very hypocritical in some ways. And that is like, I'm not stepping on toes here, but that is the culture that's the Italian culture that I grew up in. And my grandfather, he went legit and went to business school from the money that was made from the bootlegging, the racketeering, whatever, gambling that was going on in Broad Avenue, went legit. And he very much tried to hide all of that from our family and society. And I think, didn't want to be known as a dirty Italian. People were considered, Italians and Irish were considered dirty. That's why I say we were lower than slaves, because I'm not saying that to mean derogative in any way towards the sufferings that Black people, it's like comparing apples and oranges. But to be a poor white trash was lower than a slave, because they were literally, slaves were valuable. They were considered property, and that is evil and horrible in its own way. But there are, even in the Bible, it was talked about how the prodigal son, he envied the servants, perhaps even the slaves, because back in those days, that was just a very normal part of culture, of slavery. It was a way to pay back debts, is to be a slave. There was political reasons why some people were slaves, and I'm not saying it's right. It's just the way of the world, unfortunately. Even if it's not in a legal way, we're often enslaved in a sense to society and whatever. We're all slaves in some kind of way. That's how I see it. But there are different types, and certainly one, I believe there's certain, it's like comparing apples and oranges, except they're rotten apples and oranges, rotten apples and rotten oranges, and strange fruit, like the Billie Holiday's kind of strange fruit. That's really bad. That's probably the worst. That's probably worse than rotten apples and oranges. I will say that. But anyhow, back in the day, there was a time when any kind of immigrants, but particularly the Irish and the Italian that I know of, and also the Asians, and that still goes on today too, especially now. A lot of Asian racism toward Asians. And before that, it was Middle Eastern people. Some of that's calmed down. Now people are racist towards Asians and white people. And, what is white people? What is Black people? I don't know of either of those races. I've never met a white person or a Black person. I have met like different shades of beige or tans. I've seen pale beige, but I've never seen even maybe bluish almost, or gray. Never seen anyone who's white. Never seen anyone who's Black. I've seen very, 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 very dark brown. Very dark to where it almost looks black, but it's not black. If you really look at it, it's brown. I don't know what a people of color is, unless you mean all of us, in that we all have some kind of color. We are not translucent. I'm not, anyways. Ghosts are translucent. Now, if that's what you're saying, people of color, you mean the people you can see. That, yes, I'm one of those also. Anyway, because when you say white, like, what are you talking about? There's so many different shades of white that comes from completely different backgrounds that are certainly not necessarily privileged. And if we're going to talk about white people, white privilege, like white is supposed to be privileged. I don't know what white is. Don't even know what Black is. So who are these privileged ones that are going around? Because I missed that line or whatever. That must be why I got a Black girl's booty. No, I'm just kidding. It's Italian booty. Italians and black people are related in my, this is my anthropic, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anthro something theory. Very scientific. It already sounds very scientific and relevant. Something you should really pay attention to. I believe that Italians and black people are related, like DNA wise. We have a lot of similar, that and the Middle Easterns, all the Middle Easterns. And those are all connected back to Africa. So you see what I'm saying? My part of Italy came from the Etruscans, were very, very, very dark people. They're known for being very dark. That's where my people came from, the Etruscans. So anyway, I'm just saying, what is white? And I don't know where I got off on that, because I'm rap. Anyway, that's just a weird talent that I have. I'm not saying that I'm good at it. I'm good at writing rhymes. I'll say that. I am good at writing poetry, so it comes out as rhymes. And I grew up in Memphis listening to Memphis rap, and that's I'm into it. I like it. The more underground, the dirtier, the better. That's what I'm into. It's weird. I know, but if you were just to look at me, you wouldn't think, but I am. But I'm into so many different genres. That's not the only thing I'm into. But I'm really into making beats for that genre, or just making beats in general, and that's kind of where I lean. I can't help it. It's the Memphis lean. Anyway, I've babbled on. Here, this is your red light therapy for the evening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I tried. At least I was trying to share my own therapy with you, and maybe that will inspire you to do your own therapy thing that helps you when you're having a bad day. So anyway, give me a shout out in my comments if you want. If you want to email me, it's the one that I've been using for myself and for David is DLHDadandLad@gmail.com. Thanks. Oh, and visit my website. I'm a jeweler, by the way. www.lacaravana.rocks. LACARAVANA.ROCKS. Okay, anyway, check it out.